Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She wiped her hands on a dish towel and dropped it like a flag. I'm going on a girls-only cruise next week, Elena said. Savannah to the islands. 5 nights. I need a reset. We both do. No warm-up. No, how about? Just a decree over a sink full of plates that I'd washed. Next week. I leaned on the counter. We've got the roofers coming, remember? They'll manage, she waved. You're good at that stuff. I am, I nodded. But we were scheduled to pick colors and meet them together. Pick whatever you like. It's a roof. I watched the towel slide off the chair to the floor. She didn't notice. Girls only, I repeated. Who's going? Just the girls, she said, reaching for her phone. Julie, maybe Dana. We'll see. If I'd known where this was headed, I'd have recorded that towel hitting the floor. Would have saved me time. She looked up. What? Nothing. Sounds like a great use of a week. It's a chance to breathe, she added, softer, as if it were a favor to me. Space is healthy. I'm a fan of oxygen, I said. Take your space. She blinked, surprised I didn't argue. That was the first flag. The second was the smile that followed. Relief with a little victory salted in. I picked up the towel, folded it, and hit the dishwasher button. I'll rearrange my week too. For what? Space, I said, and moved past her. If she was testing distance, I'd give it a proper measuring tape. The next morning, I swapped our joint Saturday plan, breakfast with her sister, for a long drive to the supply yard. The roofers moved the appointment to Monday. I didn't chase. I texted, handling it solo. 2 words back. Thanks, babe. No question mark. I kept score without a scoreboard. Pressure built in small clicks. Monday night, she came home late from the office and dumped a boutique bag on the table. That for the cruise? I asked. It's just a dress. Why are you asking like that? Like what? Like a security guard. I slid my laptop aside. You're wearing a new shade of lipstick. You hate lipstick. It's tinted balm. Looks good. I meant it. She rolled her eyes like I tried a line. She set her phone face down and started on the salad I'd left. You didn't wait for me. You said don't. I answered. We had stopped eating at the same time about the day the towels stopped getting picked up. She forked lettuce, then smirked. So supportive all of a sudden. I've always been supportive. I just stopped volunteering to be ignored while doing it. She didn't love that. You're being dramatic. I'm being accurate. She chewed slowly, glance dropping to her phone when it flashed. She didn't reach for it. She just tilted her head to see the edge of a notification. I let it pass. At bedtime, I watched her slide a small travel razor and a new perfume into her drawer. She usually shared my stuff, called buying her own wasteful. I raised a wrist. She spritzed the air and walked through it like she was arriving somewhere better. If your girl's trip needs runway prep, I murmured, I'll move my truck so the photographer has a clean shot. She didn't laugh. Do me a favor, she said. Could you take my passport out of the safe tomorrow? I don't want to forget it in the rush. You can grab it, I said, and handed her the safe key from my ring. I'd already planned to pass through the safe myself, just to update documents. I wasn't going to hide that I had my own key. She froze, then smiled too brightly. Right? Of course. I'll grab it. Initiative 1. I moved money that night. Not petty stuff like subscriptions or streaming. I separated the bulk, our emergency fund, payroll from my shop, the mortgage buffer, into an account requiring both signatures for transfer. Joint card stayed open with a modest cap. Household basics were covered. Luxury didn't need to be. I left a printed budget sheet on the fridge labeled Temporary Plan, Travel Month. Numbers, not complaints. If she asked, I'd explain. If she didn't, that'd explain more. At breakfast, she skimmed the page. This feels controlling. It's called math, I replied, pouring coffee. Roofers, property tax, your cruise. The envelope's not infinite. Don't start with scarcity, she warned. I need this. You'll have it, I said. Within the plan. Julie's husband isn't doing this to her. Good for Julie, I said. Different house, different roof. She drummed her nails, then lifted the budget page and slid it back under a magnet. Fine. Temporary. We drove to the office together because my truck was in the shop for a brake job I insisted on. In the car, she went on a run of the girls, spa day, excursions. We booked a balcony, but nothing crazy. She tossed it out rapid fire like you do when you're plugging holes with words. Take pictures, I said. Preferably with people. You're hilarious, she muttered, checking her reflection in the visor. At her building, she popped out, then leaned back in. You should go fishing with Tom while I'm gone. Guys need guy time. Maybe, I said. Send me your full itinerary tonight. If something happens, I want to be able to reach you. She frowned. It's a cruise. You don't get constant service. So send it. I repeated, calm as a list. Ports, dates, the works. Fine, she huffed, then softened. Hey, thank you for being cool about this. The thermostat broke years ago, I told her. I just used the switch. She didn't get it. That was okay. She'd feel the switch later. That evening, I set my own rule with witnesses. At the gym, I ran into Dana from Elena's office, one of the supposed girls. You're stuck with us widowers next week. Dana joked, taping her wrist. I hear there's a cruise, I said, tying my shoe. You going? She blinked. Me? A laugh caught, then she smoothed it. I mean, yeah, maybe. If I can get the time. You should text Elena the spa times, I suggested loudly enough for the couple stretching in front of us to hear. She's sending me the itinerary tonight. Dana's eyes flicked. Oh, sure. The couple in front, retired, nosy, friendly, nodded along. Public boundary planted. I wasn't hunting. I was stating an expectation. That night, Elena came home with an apology bundle. Bag of my favorite jerky, a six-pack of the decent beer, not the cheap stuff, and a slice of pecan pie from that diner she said was overrated. She set it all like peace offerings on the counter. What's this? I asked, rinsing an apple. I've been short with you, she said, small voice on. Works a lot. The cruise is just me trying to reset. I don't want to fight. She put a hand on my forearm. I know you think it's dumb. I think 5 nights with your friends won't fix work. It'll fix me dealing with work, she countered. Look, I'm sorry about snapping. I appreciate the budget thing. You take care of so much. Accepted, I told her, because it cost me nothing. I handed her the apple. She brightened and poured me a beer. I told Julie I might skip the nightclub stuff. We'll do the pool, take naps like old people. Happy. If that makes you happy, I said, trying not to enjoy the pie too much. I wasn't letting my guard down because she brought sugar. She leaned on the island, reached for my belt loop. How about we? We're good, I cut gently. Long day. I put the pie plate in the sink. Somewhere in my head, a meter ticked. That was the midturn, a warm front after a cold snap. It always has a purpose. Before bed, she forwarded me the itinerary. A glossy PDF with port names, general times, the kind travel agents send the uncurious. No flight numbers. No hotel for the night before departure. It smelled like potpourri, strong, covering something. Where are you flying out of? I asked from the doorway. Savannah, she said, tapping on her laptop. Early morning. So a hotel the night before. We might drive down day of. Risky. It's a 6-hour drive. We'll see, she shrugged. Stop interrogating me. I asked one question. She shut her laptop. I'm going to shower. Go ahead, I said, and turned to mine. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. We shared a cloud account for receipts and household stuff. People forget what shared means. On my laptop, I logged into the joint email we used for bills. There it was. Thank you for booking. Elena Harrison plus Mike Chun. Cabin 9B. Pre-cruise hotel, Riverfront Inn. Flights. Outbound Friday evening, return Wednesday night. I read it twice without reacting. Names in black and white stripped the theater out of it. All the girls melted into one mic. Another email confirmed excursions for 2. The spa package had Mr. and Mrs. pre-checked. They'd clicked through without noticing the autofill. Sloppy. I took a screenshot. Another of the separate payment confirmation in Elena's name and one in Mike's. I forwarded both to my private email, my business email, and an external drive. Then I moved. Within 15 minutes, I froze the joint card above essentials. Utilities, mortgage, groceries at a modest limit stayed green. Everything else went gray. I changed the safe PIN. No drama. Just responsible when passports become travel tickets. I scheduled a locksmith for the following afternoon to rekey the house, while Elena worked late. I texted Tom across the street. Got folks coming tomorrow to rekey. Keep your dog in, please. He replied with a thumbs up and a you good? I answered, always. I pulled Mike Chun on the state database. Sales manager at a regional distributor. Married. Home address in a tidy subdivision 20 minutes from our place. Wife listed on the deed, Rachel Chun. Realtor, 2 kids in soccer if the minivan stickers in the Google Street View were current. I set my alarm. In the morning, I packed a folder, printed emails, the 2 confirmations, and a note. You deserve the truth from him. I prefer facts to theater. J. I dressed clean, grabbed the good coffee, and drove to their address. Rachel answered in leggings and a cardigan, hair in a knot, that said she was between showings or errands. She gave me the practiced realtor smile, then recalibrated when she didn't recognize me. Can I help you? I think we can help each other, I said, holding up the folder. This isn't a threat. It's information. Mike and my wife Elena are planning a trip they didn't tell us the truth about. Her eyes flicked to the minivan behind me, then back. What are you talking about? I handed her the folder. She scanned, eyes narrowing at her husband's name next to my wife's. This doesn't make sense. It does, I said, steady. I wanted you to have it before it went live elsewhere. I've locked down my end of the house and finances. I'm not here to cause a scene. I'm here so you can decide what you need to do with your house. How do I know you didn't fake this? She asked. A fair question. Call the Riverfront Inn, I replied. Ask for the reservation desk. Or call Mike. Ask him what he's doing Friday night. She stepped aside. Come in. I'll stay here, I said, planting my feet on the porch. I don't want your kids hearing any of this. She nodded once and vanished inside. Through the open door, I heard drawers, then the tone of her voice, quiet, controlled, on a call. A minute later, a sharper really? Another beat. Then, I have papers in my hand, Mike, and a long silence. She returned with 2 colors in her face. He said it's a vendor thing. So is the spa package, I answered. Her mouth tightened. Thank you. I'll be informing Elena's office of my separation, I added. Purely practical. I'll include HR so scheduling shocks are minimized. You do what you need to. Rachel looked me over, reading the part of me that didn't need to be talked out of a decision. You're not yelling, she observed. Volume doesn't fix leaks, I said. Plumbing and marriages share that. She absorbed it. If I need those printouts forwarded, they're in the folder and in your email, I assured. I hope you take care of yourself. She swallowed. You too. I drove to my shop and got to work. By lunch, 2 emails sent. One to Elena, short. The house will be rekeyed today for security. Essentials are covered. We'll talk logistics, not feelings. And one to her HR, copied to my accountant, stating we were separating finances for the month and requests related to her emergency contacts should route to her personal email going forward. No slander, no dirty. Just changes in systems. At 3, the locksmith's van rolled up. Tom waved from across the street. Everything all right? Burglaries in the area, I said. Updating security. You need help? I've got it, I said, and stood by the door while the locksmith worked. Elena texted an hour later. What are you doing with the locks? Improving them, I replied. Keys will be at Tom's. What is this? Housekeeping, I wrote. We'll talk tonight. She answered with a string of. I didn't feed it. Boundaries don't need punctuation. At 7, she came in hot. Tom had handed her the envelope with a key and a typed list I'd included. Temporary home rules. It wasn't petty. It was adult stuff. Card limits, schedules for mail, garage access, guest policies. She walked straight into the kitchen, the paper crumpled in her fist. What is this? She slapped it on the counter. Am I a tenant now? You're my wife? I said calm. Who made unilateral travel plans and forgot we share a life. This is structure until I know what game I'm actually in. You froze the card. I capped it, I corrected. Essentials are covered. Fun is on your card. You're punishing me. I'm protecting me, I replied. And the house I pay for. And the business that funds it. Actions meet consequences. That's adult life. She paced, then jabbed a finger at the list. Guest policy? What guest policy? No opposite-sex visitors in the house while we're in this holding pattern, I said. Seems basic. Also no overnights without notice. You think I'm bringing someone here? Her laugh was edged. I think you like gray zones, I said. I don't. So I turned on the lights. She softened suddenly, the second warm front rolling in. Okay. Maybe I overplayed the cruise thing. I wanted a break before we. She caught herself. Before we talk about changes. I was going to bring it up after the trip. I didn't want to dump it on you before. Changes like what? We're stuck, she said, palms up as if she were presenting a spreadsheet. We keep arguing. We need to reset. You reset with your partner, I said. Not with your coworker. Her face flickered. My coworker? The itinerary you sent me was a brochure, I said, and slid the printed email onto the counter next to her warm hands. This is an actual booking with names. Yours and Mike's. She didn't touch it. Then she did. Her eyes skipped, then hardened. That's not what it looks like. Looks like 2 tickets, 1 room, shared excursions. It's a mix-up, she insisted. He booked the package. It defaulted to 2 names. The room is a double. It's a group thing. Then show me the group, I answered. Show me the emails with the group. The texts. The planning thread. I'll wait. She blustered. Then sat. Then tried a different speed. I was going to tell you. You don't tell someone you're going on a girls-only trip with a man, I said. You ask, you explain, you bring him into the plan. Or you don't do it. Her eyes shone, angry but restrained. You stalked my email? We share that account for bills, I said. And you booked through it. You asked me to get your passport out of the safe. You left your plan on the kitchen table and told me to ignore the knife on it. You're being cruel, she tried. I'm being boring, I said. Boring is what people call the truth when it cuts. She slammed back into sarcasm. So you're what? Throwing me out? I'm not throwing anyone, I replied. I'm adjusting access. You wanted space. You've got it. The master is mine tonight. Guest room is made up. If you're not sleeping here, text me where you are. We're not kids. You don't get to control me. Correct, I said. I get to control what I do. And what comes in my door. You get to decide what you do with that. She stared. Then tried the oldest lever. People will think you're paranoid. People already think you're on a girl's trip, I said, and slid my phone across. Here's a list of people who no longer believe that. Me, the locksmith, Tom, Dana, your HR, and Rachel. Rachel, Mike's wife, I said. Seems nice. She appreciated the folder. Her composure cracked. You went to her house? I delivered information to a homeowner whose schedule was about to be disrupted, I said. Like a good neighbor. You're destroying everything, she whispered. No, I answered. I'm refusing to be destroyed quietly. Different thing. She tried to pivot again, softer, more coaxing. She put her hand over mine. We can fix this. Let me cancel the cruise. We'll go to that cabin you like. No phones. That won't fix the part where you engineered a week with a colleague and called it healing, I said. There's no cabin big enough for that. Her hand slipped away. So that's it. You're ending us because I wanted a break. I'm ending the version of us where I'm the last to know, I said. What happens to the rest depends on what you do now. She stood, the decision to fight postponed. I'm staying at Julie's. Text me when you get there, I replied. I'll bring a box of your work clothes tomorrow morning. You've got a presentation Thursday, right? Might as well be prepared. She flinched again. Don't contact my job. I contacted HR to update emergency contacts, I said. I didn't share gossip. Your schedule is your business. But when husbands stop being emergency contacts, people think it's helpful to know. She left, keys in hand, shoulders squared. The front door closed. I listened to the silence. It wasn't empty. It was clean. I slept like a man who'd moved the fridge and found the source of the smell. In the morning, I loaded a neat box of her things, blouses, flats, a charger she always forgot, and set it by the door. I emailed my accountant to pause joint autopay for anything discretionary and to reroute my paycheck to the newly insulated account. Then I called my mother and told her, in 3 sentences, that I was okay, that Elena and I were hitting a fork, and that no casseroles were necessary. At noon, the invitation landed from our neighbor Laura. Bonfire Friday before the weekend. Bring a chair. I accepted. Public is good for clarity. Friday came fast. Elena was supposed to drive to Savannah after work. The office parking lot tells truths at 5:30. I swung by with Tom on the way to the bonfire. We parked far, watched the exits. At 6, Mike's sedan slipped out, Elena 2 cars behind. They didn't leave together. They didn't have to. I texted Rachel a single word, departing. She replied with a thumbs up and a final, I got the rest I need. Don't worry about me. At Laura's, the fire popped and neighbors clustered with paper plates. Someone handed me a soda. Elena's absence was a presence. People ask with their eyes first. I let them. Laura slid in next to me. Elena said she had a girl's thing. She does, I said. Fun, Laura offered, testing. For someone, I said. Tom snorted into his cup. I didn't feed the rumor mill. I just didn't starve it either. Half an hour in, the talk drifted to roofs and ball games and whose dog had eaten whose tomato plants. Then Dana arrived. Alone. She saw me, hesitated, then approached in that office casual way, smile on, distance kept. Big week, she said. For some, I answered. You didn't make the cruise? She shook her head. Didn't have the time. I watched her face. She carried the look of someone who knows she's standing between two moving cars. You working with Elena on the Carter account? I asked plainly. Sometimes, she hedged. Tell her I wish her a relaxing trip, I said loud enough for two conversations around us to catch it. And that I changed the garage code. Dana's eyes widened. I'm not. I mean, I'll tell her. You're fine, I said, easing it. It's not about you. Enjoy the fire. Laura gave me a look, half respect, half gossip hunger. Everything okay? Everything's honest, I said. That's better than okay. My phone buzzed at 9. A text from Elena. At the hotel. Call me. I put the phone in my pocket. I had nothing else to say that night. At 11, I sent a single reply. Have a restful stay. Keys return Monday, 6 p.m., to Tom. Saturday, I drove to the river and walked the path where I used to take calls from clients. I booked an inspection for the house, scheduled the roof work for midweek, and ordered a storage locker. When you change a life, boxes help. Sunday afternoon, a mutual friend, Kevin, pinged. Saw something on socials. You good? Better than polite, I wrote back. He called anyway. Man, there's a photo of Elena's group at a bar. Mike's in the back like a coat rack. So much for girls only, I said. The algorithm works. You want me to comment? No, I said. I'm not a teenager. You need anything? I need a dolly on Tuesday, I said. Help me move a few things. That I can do. Monday, 6 p.m., Elena showed up at Tom's like a student at detention. She returned the keys in their envelope. I met her at the curb. No audience. Just the two of us and the smell of a neighbor's grill. You ignored my call, she started. I didn't have a question for you, I said. You had all the answers you needed. She looked small and furious. I didn't. It wasn't what you think. I didn't say what I think, I said. I did what I do. Locks are changed. Access is revised. The rest is next. The rest. Separation, I answered. Effective now. You'll get a written plan, finances, timelines, moving logistics. I'll be fair. I'll be exact. I won't be negotiable on respect. We can talk, she pleaded, a last try at soft power. Without this, military rollout. I'm not marching, I said. I'm building a fence. You liked the open range when it served you. It doesn't serve me. Her voice dropped. People will think. They'll think I stopped pretending, I said. Which is the only thing I'm interested in people doing. She chewed on 1,000 arguments and swallowed none. I didn't want to hurt you. You wanted cushion, I corrected, not unkind. You wanted a test run with a safety net. I took the net away. Now you can decide if you can walk the wire. Her eyes flashed. You're cold. I'm in control, I said. It looks the same from the outside. I handed her 2 envelopes. One with the separation plan, dates, what bills I'd keep, what she'd handle, where her mail would be held, when she could come by with notice to get the rest of her things. The second with the printouts she already knew about, in case she still called them fake. She didn't open either. You're not leaving me any dignity. You'll have all the dignity you give yourself, I said. And I'm done lending mine. She stood there another breath, then left without the dramatic turn. She's always been practical when the room stops applauding. 2 days later, I walked into my shop to find a message from a mutual friend at Elena's office. Heads up, there's noise. HR asked questions. Mike took time off. Dana looked like she swallowed a lemon. I didn't respond. I changed the oil on a client's truck and enjoyed the quiet. By Friday, the roofers were banging like a drum line. Tommy from across the street stopped by with coffee and a grin. Saw the new shingles. Nice. They're straight, I said. That's all I asked. You're handling this like a machine, he added. I'm handling it like a man with a calendar, I said. Machines don't call locksmiths. That afternoon, Elena texted again. Can we meet? Neutral place. Your sister's porch, Sunday at 5, I replied. She's safe ground. Sunday, I arrived on time. Julie opened the door with severe eyes. "This is a mess," she said. "It's a cleanup," I replied, walking past her to the porch. Elena was there, hair pulled back, hands around a mug she didn't drink. "I don't want a war," she said before I Saturday. "I want an exit that doesn't wreck both of us." "Then take the plan," I said. "No lawyers. No shouting. Sell the stuff we don't need. Split what's fair. You keep the small car. I'll refinance the house or sell it. We'll decide after the appraisal." "And reputations?" she pressed. "Control what you post," I said. "I won't write essays. I won't correct your story either. That's your job." Julie shifted in her chair. "He's being reasonable," she muttered, surprised with herself. Elena ignored her. "Do you still? Is there anything to save?" "There's the part of me that likes my mornings quiet and my tools where I left them," I said. "There's nothing here that needs your hand anymore. You made your choice when you booked that cabin and called it self-care." She pressed her lips. "Fine. Keys stay with me," I added. "Garage remotes too. You can schedule times to collect boxes. I'll be here. Tom can be here. Or your sister. Witnesses never hurt." Julie looked like she wanted to clap and cry at the same time. "You too. We're two people who built something and then kicked different beams until it fell," I said. "I'm just not standing under it to prove I'm committed." Elena stared at her mug. "I didn't plan to, you know." "I'm not interested in the romance of your logistics," I said. "I'm interested in moving the heavy stuff by Tuesday." That ended it. Practical beats poetic every time. She left with Julie, and I drove home to measure the hallway for boxes. Kevin showed up with the dolly like he said he would. We moved the guest room dresser into the garage. He didn't ask if I was sure. He knows me. On Wednesday, Rachel texted, "Update. I listed the house." He moved to a short-term rental. "Thank you for the wake-up I didn't want but needed." "Good luck," I typed back. "You'll land on your feet." A week later, Elena collected the last of her winter clothes. She stood in the doorway, not quite inside, not quite out. "You're really not going to yell at me, are you?" "I told you my thermostat broke," I said. "I installed a kill switch instead." She looked at the house behind me. Clean floors, labeled boxes, the smell of fresh shingles warming in the sun. "You replace me with order." "I replaced chaos with order," I corrected. "You replace yourself with whatever you want." She nodded once, like a pro accepting defeat. "Is there anything you want to say?" "Yeah," I said. "You wanted a week to see who you were without me. You got a lifetime." She blinked, but didn't break. "Goodbye, John." "Take care, Elena." I closed the door with the same quiet I opened it with months ago. It's been 8 months. I sold the house at a good price and bought a smaller place with a big garage. My tools hang where I can see them. On weekends, I drive a used pickup I actually like more than the old one, the kind that starts every time because I maintain it. The roof doesn't leak. The neighbor's dog loves me for reasons unknown. Kevin and I expanded the shop and took on 2 apprentices, good kids who learn fast and keep their phones in their pockets because I set that rule early. There's a woman now, Alyssa. No fireworks. Just a steady laugh and a habit of bringing pastry when I don't ask. She asked once about Elena. I told her the short version. She nodded and didn't try to solve me. That's more intimate than any apology. Elena? She moved across town. People say she left the firm quietly after a restructure. She tempied somewhere else, then pivoted to consulting. I heard she's staying with Julie while she resets. I don't watch. I don't need to. I can hear the echo of a towel hitting the floor and know exactly where I'd be if I kept picking it up. I won't be that man again. The man I am locks his own doors, pays his own bills, and when someone says girls only, he listens for the part where the truth forgot to RSVP. Then he acts. The last message I sent Elena said everything I needed. The house is not your backup plan. Neither am I. We're done. That was the point. Not the yelling, not the begging, not the pity. Just the sentence that closed the account with the correct math, 0 balance, 0 debt, respect restored where it always belonged.